Good afternoon, Colorado. Good afternoon if you're listening outside of Colorado. This is Josh with K4CO Radio. Man, it's a beautiful day. It's very windy again, though. If you're outside of Colorado, I say this all the time when I'm live. Send us your weather, please. It's just going to be way too dry of a summer here, so we are not getting as much snow as we should here in Colorado. But thank you very much for listening to K4CO. We have a wonderful interview coming up. If you are listening on K4CORadio.com or the K4CO Radio apps or one of the many internet radio directories that we are on, do know that you can go to K4CO Radio's social media platforms and you can see our pretty faces here in the studio. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, all of them. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments or anything like that, feel free to throw them in the comments section, and our producer Sabino will alert me to that so that we can try to address those for you or anything like that. But without further ado, a favorite here in K4CO Radio Land, Mr. Ryan Kenny, owner of Rocky Mountain Credit Card. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Doing well. We still haven't talked about the Broncos. Were you there at that game?
I was.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, speaking of the weather, heard a tidbit from Chris Bianchi, and he said 10% of all of the snow that we've had this winter happened in the second half of that game.
Really?
Yeah.
10% of it. Wow. Yeah. It was I was warm though. I bundled up.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
It actually wasn't too bad in the ambiance, and I mean, by that time, the second half of the game, it was just kind of a fun background, and that was about the only entertaining thing about the second half was the snow.
Exactly. It actually made me a little upset because when we get a new stadium and a dome, that's the part of football that I think is going to go away. I really think it's going to be like, oh, it's raining out, put the dome on. So that's football, what it was. We're also here with another wonderful guest, Mr. James Farnsworth, who is the owner of All Seas Collectibles in Aurora, and they have a south location as well. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Were you at the game, watching the game?
I sadly watched that from my home.
So you're
by
warm.
Myself in anger.
In anger.
It was the most intense first half of a 7-7 football game.
It was.
I think I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah. I definitely knew that going for it on the fourth in the first quarter was just the dumbest mistake. But, it is what it is.
The only irrational is they knew that storm was coming, so they figured go get the points now.
Right.
I guess, but run the ball, right, in that situation.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I know. What do we know? We don't know either.
Yeah,
I play a lot of Madden.
We're not paid to be there. Exactly. Well, so let's get right into it. So for our first time listeners, Ryan, can you kind of describe Rocky Mountain Credit Card, what you do for customers like All Seas Collectibles?
Yeah. So I started Rocky Mountain Credit Card about 20 years ago, and what I do that's different is most companies out there that do processing, they sell one said service, one solution. They work for the company directly. Not that there's not other people that do what I do, but I call myself a consultant broker for POS systems and credit card processing. So I've partnered myself with a dozen different banks, processors, technology companies, and just try to find the right fit and have the right solutions for customers. So work with multiple processors, and I know some maybe work better for retail, others work better online.
Bars and restaurants.
Yeah, others work for bars and restaurants and such. So when I met James, I was actually first a client of his. As you know, I'm a huge sports fan. And
you are.
Collectibles, and so shopped there a few times, and we got friendly, and it was one of those to where they were already using Clover equipment, and Clover's just kind of a white label point of sale system, and so I knew what I had to use, got them set up with some Clover devices and all that, and so instead of telling them what their rates should be, telling them what solution I have, I try to be flexible and listen to them, and try to get them a solution.
So it's kind of like an insurance broker where you have access to multiple different solutions, and
Correct.
you just do what's correct.
Well, I would say you did even more for that because at that time, it's been a while since I've been with. Usually, a lot of people switch businesses will switch credit card processors for the highest, better rate coming to you. I get calls every day. It's the most, sadly, one of the most calls I get every day.
But you get calls from people with one company.
Yeah, well, there's several. There's a cold call, call people calling to get you to do credit card processing with them.
Exactly.
But when he first came to us, my mom was just transitioning out of the business, selling it to me. And we were using not a POS system yet. We were still using the old register.
Oh, that's right.
And we were using the old swipe. This is
the
10, 15 years ago. Wait, no, I've used those too. I came up with it after this, whatever you would use after that, the machine, the swipe machine.
Yeah, just a standalone credit card.
And she was all about first data, remember?
Yeah.
And you had to explain to her about banks and first data and all this. Because my mom's an old business lady, she's been doing it since the swipe day, the crank and break and knuckles days. So he actually found the Clover system for us and integrated our whole payment process into our first POS system.
Oh, thank you.
With my wife, Trish.
Yeah.
You and Trish both did, step by step together. So my wife and him went together, found the right POS system, custom fitted it for our business. Because we have a very unique business. I sell a lot of things that aren't barcoded. I sell collectibles. So vintage to new. And it's very unique. We have to make our own categories, subcategories. And in the POS world, that's a nightmare a lot of the time. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, I bet most of it is just manual entries. I mean, because there is no barcode.
Correct, right. So we have to make our own. Unlike a bar where it's already scheduled out or a restaurant setting POS system.
Well, All Seas Collectibles has been around for quite a while. You've been doing it for a while. You said your mom started it. How did it all first get started? Did you know the idea behind it?
Yeah, my mother and father started before I was born in Omaha. I was born in 1976, and they had a little antique shop. My dad got a job at Frito-Lay, transferred to Denver because he was a coin dealer. And he always wanted to live in Denver because we have a mint here. So it's a big, turn on to him to come to Denver, Colorado because of the mint, and he's a Broncos fan. Right. So we moved to Denver. He opened his first coin store in 1982 off Quebec and Evans. And we kind of closed that and then reopened All Seas in 1988 as it is now, where it's coins, cards, comics, and all collectibles.
Okay, right, gotcha. And I know you weren't the owner back then, but you spent a lot of time there.
Yes, sir. I grew up with my dad doing this business. Every day after school, when it was All Seas, I went to All Seas from 12 years old. And I've worked in that store now until I'm 49. And I run and operate it with my wife.
How is all the collectibles scene kind of, I don't know, changed over the years? Because you were there 12 years old. You're in your late 40s now.
Yeah, and even before in the 70s and 80s, my dad was selling stuff out of a trunk of a car a lot of the time, at Denny's parking lots and stuff like that, selling his coins. And, before we had stores, I've seen it all. And now it's a huge, huge business. We were talking about there's three things really hot right now: gold, silver, and Pokemon. And I would say I sell more Pokemon than anything, Right. And that's my youngest collector, 6 and up. And I sell to guys that are 86 and females, women up to 86 years old, 90s.
Oh my goodness.
I coin collect,
Right. It just shocks me. Pokemon is like the biggest beast outside of gold and silver. Is Pokemon bigger than gold and silver?
I would say, right now.
Gosh.
It's a huge, huge commodity right now. And I mean commodity, people are grading, slabbing, and selling these things. We were talking about Logan Paul, for millions of dollars. Golden Auctions just sold one this week. What did you get for that?
16
mil.
16 mil. Oh my goodness gracious.
That's real money. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of this is done on credit cards nowadays. So you gotta have a right POS system and trust who you're using to make those funds.
Very few people carry cash anymore.
No, it's all Venmo, Cash App, which I don't take. I will only take at a trade show or convention. Use my Clover system. So I have an app on my phone. And I can use my POS system on the app of my phone.
And that's connected to the point of sale system that Ryan set up for y'all.
Yes, and it goes to my store. So the sales go right to my store.
Gotcha. Ryan, I'm curious, what specific challenges was James kind of facing with payment processing from your memory when it came to partnering with you? I know it's kind of an old system.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and that was the thing. They, like you said, his parents were old school. And so just always worked with their bank, and they just had a standalone credit card terminal. And when James and his wife took over, they kind of wanted to bring it into the 21st century. And so that.
Well, yeah, for bookkeeping as well. Yeah. For QuickBooks, QuickBooks is a whole other part of that I didn't even get into with that as well.
Yeah. So like Clover's got a back-end integration with like QuickBooks. So that'll all sync into their QuickBooks account. and then just like he said, just their inventory control and just having all their items in the POS system. And yeah, cool thing like he was just talking about, you know, and this was a couple of years later, but they have card events and trade shows and different things, and to have the ability to accept credit cards at a show and then know that it's automatically going to sync with the POS system,
Right.
and it goes into the sales there, as opposed to a lot of, and I still see this, a lot of businesses, they may have one system at their store, you know, or at their restaurant or whatever, but then when they're on the go, they're like, oh, just, you know, scan my Venmo, or hey, I use Square at these shows,
Cash
or
App or PayPal.
Yeah,
PayPal is a huge percentage I pay on that.
yeah, or PayPal, but it's then like, you know, on the back end for accounting purposes, now you're like, oh, okay, now I've got to look at this sales, and now I've got charges from this other company,
Right.
and so it just makes it cumbersome for all C's. They wanted a system that's really flexible. Like I said, what's kind of nice, you know, Clover doesn't work for every business, but for theirs, it works perfectly. Something that they can white label, and it'll grow with them. And so, you know, if they need to add a system, they can add it. You know, they've got setups for on the goes, and, you know, there's a lot of great integrations with Clover, you know, such as the QuickBooks one, and, you know, hundreds of others that it's kind of
payrolls goes through that. Yeah. Time clock for the employees.
yeah.
Right.
And you think of Clover, it's kind of like your phone. So like, you know, you have Clover, which is the brain, but like, you know, when you have a phone and on Apple, and it's like, oh, I need to add this app. I want to have this app for something. Same thing with Clover. It's like, hey, you go to the Clover store, and then you've got, you know, hundreds, if not thousands, of resellers.
And that's the best way to put it, because I had never used a POS system before. I grew up at all C's, right? So
Right.
cash is king. But that was the best way to explain it. It's like a phone, and that's exactly how you operate it. You put in your inventory through an inventory app, you know, reporting app gives you your sales at the end of the day, and you close your orders out, and it goes processes very easily. Really mainstreamed.
How smooth was the process working with Rocky Mountain Credit Card, like to switch from, I mean, kind of a really old system,
Right.
to a much newer one?
So it was awesome. He came in and helped us out with the POS system. I made him payments. I didn't even have to pay for it all up front. You know, he helped me out, and it was a seamless process. It was instant.
Nice,
You know?
nice. And you guys had an interesting payment partnership. Is that correct? Because Ryan, you love sports, you love collectibles, you love, and you've said it in interviews before on K4CO that you know, you're willing to kind of trade.
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah, and it's one of those to where, you know, most of these systems, they're, you know, 1,000 to 3,000-4,000 per setup,
Right.
and so as a small business owner, that's a good chunk of change that you're having to pay, and you know, if you work for direct for a company and this and that, you know what your cost is. You've got to charge this. And you know, it is what it is, unless the company's offering a promotion with me. I'm independent, and so I can do outside the box stuff. So I actually love doing stuff like this.
You do stuff like I do. We do it the exact same way, so it works perfectly. You know, the art of mercantilism, the art of trade. You know,
right,
so
right.
I used to propose that to me, and I'm all about it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
One of the oldest, you know, ways is, you know, instead of trading goats and chickens and hens, you know, trading POS systems for, you know, I was just starting to get into coins and bills and stuff. And, you know, James and his dad, you know, helped walk me through that. And it was kind of the same thing. Like, you can go crazy with coins and notes and all that. And I kind of wanted to hone it in. So basically, with my collection, especially being from Denver and Colorado, I'm trying to do Denver mint only coins. And then as far as the notes, 100 years ago, like a lot of cities had particular notes and such. So James has helped grow my collection there. And so whenever
I've got a couple of inns that you haven't been into. I got a couple of Greeley's. I got a Fort Lupton Federal Reserve note.
Well,
very cool.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, it's a beautiful relationship, and it keeps. And that's the thing. I'm a small business owner. He is as well, and I love just doing outside the box stuff, helping people out, and if he doesn't have any money out of pocket, and and for me, I get to.
Especially in the beginning, we were dealing with mom. That's an easy way to propose it to my mother.
Well,
It's a
yeah.
lot
Instead
easier.
of like every other company was like, oh, you need a couple
Right.
of stations, it's going to be $4,000.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
like
like,
going to be a no right off the bat.
yeah, and I'm like, I can do all trade.
Especially to small business. I mean, cash is king on
Right.
that. So I mean, trade is very
Yes, yeah,
lucrative
especially
on
like
that.
startup. People are starting up little restaurants or anything like that. It's a tough business. All of this you lose for the first 5 years. In a small business, typically.
Right,
so
right,
Any help
exactly.
you can get.
And so we're gonna, if you're listening on the audio side, again, we're with Ryan Kenny, owner of Rocky Mountain Credit Card. You can go to RockyMountainCreditCard.com. Also 303-875-0621 is the phone number. All POS and much more than POS. I mean, scheduling. I mean, just huge systems just for your business. But then we're also with James Farnsworth, owner of All Seas Collectibles. Your Aurora location has been the longest at 1250 South Abilene, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's been the longest location. And how long ago did you open the south location on Arapahoe
We're
Road?
coming on 5 years right now, and our 5-year lease is coming up.
Okay.
So we're actually going to
starting to make money then.
Yeah,
In the
exactly.
5
So we're
years.
actually going to expand. Big news. In August, we're going to open up down the street a little bit on University in Dry Creek and expand the store. So we're going to double the size of it almost.
Nice.
And, be more in the community. I love bringing the gaming and collectibles more into the community. I grew up in Arapahoe County, so it's real special to me to be in Arapahoe County and where we are in the community. We also do an event twice a year, a show. When we're talking about shows and everything, Arapahoe County Fairgrounds, we do it first weekend of April and first weekend of September. A big, huge Comic-Con sports card show. Free
Nice.
admission for everybody as well.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. You guys kind of run that?
Yeah, I run that.
Nice.
I sell booths to vendors. A lot of my customers who want to get on this side of the table get that opportunity to go set up and vend and try to see what it's like.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And your location that's going to be coming up off of Dry Creek and University, that's set. That's a set deal.
We're in the final phases of getting
Okay.
everything done with them. But
All right, so no
that
jinxing.
area is where I'm going to be for sure. I got a
Right,
couple
right.
spots. I got backup plans.
It's a
always,
great area.
Yeah, it's a great
exactly.
area.
And with your early customers, I mean, how has collectibles changed over the years? I mean, were collectibles a long time ago for youth? I mean, you say Pokemon's for like 6 years old to some of your customers.
Yes. So I'm a child of the 80s. I was born in 1976.
Right.
And my dad was a coin dealer. And coins really got big in 82. There was another silver boom back then. The Hunt brothers boomed up silver and gold. So
Okay.
collectibles got real hot again.
And sidebar, Hunt Brothers relation to the Kansas City Chiefs Hunt owners.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That's another
I
podcast
don't
for
like 'em
another
already.
day. Anyway,
They played the game.
Yeah.
And
You say Kansas City Chiefs, I'm already like, no.
still
not at all.
that market crash, when somebody plays a game, it goes the other way and crash. So we had to get into other collectibles. And my brother and I would acquire cards and comic books at these coin shows and gun shows we had gone to. And in 86, 88, baseball got really, really hot. And so did
Right.
football again. And as that happened, the Upper Deck started making baseball cards in 89 after Jose Canseco hit the 40-40. There was a big deal in the 80s. Everybody loved Jose Canseco. If you were alive, you remember it. There was a phenomenon that was different than anything else. But after that, the 89 Upper Deck came out and made the Ken Griffey Jr. card. And that made cards a commodity. That card innovated the industry in a way that we had never seen before. Because before Upper Deck, there was just Tops making the same old, bubblegum card, generic, got a piece of candy.
Yeah.
It was a game. It wasn't really a collectible. Upper Deck made it a commodity with this Upper Deck card, putting a hologram on it, making it authentic. It was fought counterfeiting, fought a lot of things that people questioned about in the card market.
Are there still like, we were talking about the Pokemon, millions of dollars. Is baseball cards, are they still like a good investment collectible?
Baseball is still very strong. What worries me with baseball is they're going to have their talks of a strike again next year. So
Okay.
everything could go the other way as it has before. Baseball is very niche. Cards in general are huge right now. Baseball is kind of a niche market because it's an older crowd that watches baseball, especially in Colorado. We have the Rockies.
Well, they are amazing.
Yeah.
They're trying.
The Broncos, we live in a football dominant city.
Well, we the Avs are awesome.
Yes.
NBA,
Yes.
the Nuggets are awesome.
Right.
I mean, we're basically awesome except the Nuggets.
Yeah, I don't want to make a bold statement. So regionally in Denver, baseball is the worst of the four.
Right.
But that's not like that nationally, right?
Right. Exactly.
Money's in baseball. So big money buyers that buy Honus Wagner's, Mickey Mantles, they have a lot of money they put into baseball.
Right. Exactly. Is there like differences in clients between your Aurora store and your Centennial store?
Right. I think there's different clients, what we were saying to Pokemon to these vintage baseball buyers.
Okay.
There is a different demographic for every kind of collectible I sell, I'd say.
Gotcha.
From entry level Pokemon to the high end vintage guy to a gold buyer, silver buyer, or there's a comic book collector who does it for the joy of reading. They come in every week and buy their periodical comic books every week for the joy of reading about Batman. So that's a whole other idea,
That's a whole other thing right there. And you guys stay in touch quite a bit. I mean, not only for the collectibles thing, but Ryan, you stated on the interviews so many times that it's not a one and done type of transaction with you.
Right.
Because you love customers being able to reach out to you if there's any issues, if there's any problems.
Correct.
So, and right there, a lot where, if somebody, perfect example, one of these people that just sells one, company stuff. A lot of times they just send you to the customer service number, correct?
Well, right. And on top of that, the average shelf life of somebody in my industry is 3 to 6 months. So,
really?
Correct. Yeah. So
they just can't.
I believe that.
Can't take
It's
it.
a cold call guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's if I was to have to start in this industry again, I don't know if I could do it. I'm married, I have a kiddo, not a ton of extra time on my hands, but it's truly cutthroat. It's a nationwide type thing. So like James was saying, he's getting calls every day. It's because it's nationwide. And I mean, there's a lot of people who even hire, out of country people to just call businesses and then do life transfers, if they've got them on the hook and all of that. So, in most cases, the rep who signs you up for sales, they're just there for the sales, and then you get tossed the 800 number. And, it's not like the companies I work with don't have 800 numbers, but, what I tell my clients, hey, if you have, a situation that comes up, you aren't getting the support you need, you have my email, you have my phone number. They had a situation come up a week or two ago, and, they called me up, answer, I've got James' cell number, we text back and forth for different things. So, kind of like what his family's done for a couple generations, personal touch, family business, they look out for their clients. I do the same type of thing because, especially in his world as well, a repeat customer is the kind of customer you want, and they're going to refer you more business and all of that. And, and it's reciprocal. He's referred me out to a couple places, and like I was at a networking event a couple weeks ago, and we were actually in Centennial or at South Glen, and we were talking collectibles. And I'm like, hey, one of my buddies, shops is right down the street. You should check him out. So.
Exactly. And I've always said you do business with people over companies. I mean, company is like a side thing of it, but it's all about that small business feel. Here's my cell phone number type thing.
Oh, and being a small business owner is tough in this country anymore. It's not easy. So to have a face, especially for somebody in our financial department, is nice. You could try calling your bank. You get AI to answer the phone or whatever. It's not easy to do. I can't text them, that's for sure.
Oh, I do love screaming through the phone.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't understand you. Really?
Right.
Maybe because I'm yelling at the top of my lungs because you don't understand me when I speak quietly on that. So how did you guys initially kind of like meet up? Was it through the collectibles shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always looking for different places, and the thing about collectibles is, and I find this, it's like you see something and you never even heard of this said collectible before, and it's like, oh, I gotta have it. And so
it's true. It's very true.
It's like I didn't even know this thing existed 5 minutes ago, but now I gotta have it. So I just happen to I don't live close to a shop. I just happened to be there, and I met James and his dad, and just went in there every once in a while, and and eventually, I don't like to come guns blazing about business immediately. So like to build a little rapport and all that. So, that's, and just kind of grew from there. And that's actually how I love doing business with people I do business with and help each other out.
Yeah. And having a really common, passion in there too. I mean, I'm curious, James, you've been at your parents' shop since you were like 12 years old. You're the owner now. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I would probably love to see your collectibles, your personal collectibles.
I'm strange anymore. I was born on Halloween, so I collect Halloween stuff. I don't collect actually what we sell too much. Everything I buy now, my dad was a great teacher. He's a great man, but he was a great teacher that I don't fall in love with stuff I sell at the store anymore. So I just put everything out on for sale anymore. I don't really keep anything. I do love Orion Collects. I love Denver. I love our city very much. We have a rich history. It's a short history, 1876 to now. The mint started in, the early 1900s. So even our mint's only been minting coins a little over 100 years. It's not impossible to collect everything Denver. It's a very cool collectible. And, we're a gold town, which has a good, cool gold history to it. I love that too. You know what I mean? As I'm getting older, I'm more of like a Western history buff, I guess.
I still love seeing all the abandoned towns, the mining towns up in the mountains. Yeah.
Reading about Kit Carson, I mean, I'm more into that now, I guess, and coins. I'm more of a coin guy now. I think that comes with age maybe a little bit too.
Nice. What's probably some of the coolest things that you've seen come in and out of your shop?
What we're blessed was we have the A&A Museum in Colorado Springs. So I actually got to see the 1943 copper penny that's down there. They came to a show in Denver about 3 years ago. We set up at probably 5 years ago now. And I've seen everything. There hasn't been much I haven't seen. Mile High Card Company, who has sold the last 3 Honus Wagners. I've been to their office and they threw one of those on my lap like it was nothing. So I got to hold a Honus Wagner card. Got my picture with that. That was a boyhood dream come true. I own a Detective Comics 29, which is the second appearance of Batman. Detective 27 is the first appearance of Batman.
Wow.
So I guess that's the answer to the question. My personal coolest thing I like and I still own, but it's for sale, is Detective Comics 29.
It is for sale.
It is for sale.
Detective, how much?
It's on eBay right now, my eBay store, All Seas Inc., All Seas Collectibles.
Okay.
It's at $250,000.
$250,000. The second
Batman. It's when the only issue he actually uses a gun and kills somebody with. Wow. So Batman actually kills somebody in this issue.
I didn't even know Batman killed somebody.
Only
with a gun.
one time.
Only one time.
They just, that was against his moral code.
Right. Exactly. Ryan, how about you? I mean, you have a lot of collectibles.
That's true, though. He brings up a good point, because the thing about collecting is you get emotional.
Yes.
And you get attached and tied to it, and so that's the tough thing. And so, perfect example, one of the things he was talking about, the mint. So something I didn't even know existed, but I had to have. So when the Denver Mint opened, they gave out tokens. Okay. And it's a category called not so dollar, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so basically it's 1906 and it says, Denver Mint, and they just handed them out there. But, fast forward 100 some odd years later and it's a collectible. So it's one of those, I saw one and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing, but I gotta have it.
Well, you had to think about the population in Denver in 1906 was nothing. And the federal government had a problem with minting already in the West. The San Francisco Mint burnt down from the earthquake. Carson City got shut down, the Carson City Mint in Nevada, because it kept getting robbed in the 1800s. Everybody pushed west for a reason.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So, the 1906 in Denver, we're still very much the Wild Wild West. It's the end of that period, sadly. It's the end of that time period. But
yeah, and so...
It's very cool. It's like transition.
Yeah. And so, I've got way too much. It was kind of funny. My wife's best friend came over and we were down in the basement, and my basement's just, I've got KU football lockers down there and game worn jerseys and this and that. And she's like, well, what's your favorite piece and how many pieces do you have? And I started looking around. I'm like, I've got a problem.
You can't be,
They have support groups for this, right?
Exactly. A couple of my favorites, I would say I've tried to, as far as my collectibles, like the coins go Colorado and Denver, and still with most of my collection it's Colorado and Denver, but I'm trying to get more into game worn items. And the cool thing about that is like you can get a signed jersey from like, let's say, a Von Miller.
Right.
But there's hundreds, if not thousands of those out. But when you get into a game worn piece, if you can figure out how to photo match it and this and that, that was just from, in a lot of cases, one game or a certain period of time. And, that's a piece of history there.
Yes.
And so a couple years ago, I was able to acquire a game worn Von Miller jersey. So that's one of my cherished pieces. A few years prior to that, I was able to get a Babe Ruth autograph ball.
Nice.
Especially James and I, Sandlot movie,
one of the greatest
one of the
movies out
greatest
there.
movies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's a top 10 collectible of everything I sell. I would put that in the top 10. Detective Comics 27, Action 1, Babe Ruth ball, Honus Wagner, they're all right there. Babe Ruth doesn't have one specific baseball card that's great either. He has the Gaudies, and he's got the Red Sox rookie, but
so there's not one big Babe Ruth.
He played in a time period of the Depression after World War I, going into the Depression, and then in the 30s we started coming out of the Depression and made the Gaudi ball cards with bubble gum. But he doesn't have a lot. I think he has less than 6 cards probably.
Oh wow!
Not counting promos and candy stuff, but like actual card set cards.
Gotcha.
So an autograph ball is huge for Babe Ruth.
That's his big thing.
It's his big. Yeah. It's the staple for him.
But it was a lot of money. It didn't have a solid authentication prior to me getting it, but the guy was really cool. We actually met down at a competitor store of James, and it was authenticated. You can get these authenticated, and the big ones are like JSA, Beckett, PSA, and so. I told him I'd buy it if it got the said authentication, and it did, and it turned out.
Right.
But
at the same time, he's one of the most highly it's the big
four.
fellas.
There's
Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, and Wayne Gretzky. That's the big 3.
Those are the big 3.
And Mantle and Ted Williams. Actually, there's 5 big ones.
Okay. All right. I didn't
Ted Williams
know
has
that.
a horrible story after he passed away.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's valuable because of his story after he passed away.
With some of these estates, what happens to you is they keep signing your name after you're long gone. You know what I mean? Keep putting out memorabilia. So you have to be very careful where you get it from and how who it's certified by. Tell him Ted Williams' kids were notorious for it, and Joe DiMaggio's lawyer after Joe DiMaggio passed away. It's another one.
And then I think Babe Ruth's wife signed a lot,
and his daughter too, I believe too.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't get a lot of money though. There was no residual pays. The Yankees weren't throwing them any money or anything. I'm sure after he passed away.
Gotcha. So there's a lot of, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of fakes out there.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, the autograph game's a scary game, memorabilia wise. You got to really know what you're doing.
Well, what's crazy, and this is actually going into cards. I just saw a post the Jordan rookie, the '86 Fleer. Is it? PSA had I forget how many that went in to be graded, and I think over a quarter of them were fake.
Right.
Fake cards.
Wow.
And they won't even grade them now because of the liability of the card too. So it's even if they are real, they don't even want to touch them. They're getting so many lawsuits, PSA, and it's an unregulated hobby, grading in the sports card industry. So it's kind of open. You got to really trust who you're buying things from, and like the credit card game, you got to know who you're buying from and the brands you're buying from. Don't just go, if a deal's too good to be true, it's too good to be true, right?
Oh, of course.
Especially in
all
the
the
United
time.
States, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly. Please tell me that people. I've known certain people that was just like, oh, I had to get my roll of pennies.
Yes. The
stopped.
25s, yes.
Yes.
They are high. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So 25 penny is a thing. So San Francisco now only makes the proof set. They're a working museum in San Francisco. So a proof coin means it's struck twice, and it only comes in that little set every year. That proof penny is selling of over $200.
Really?
But it was the lowest vintage proof set ever and that we've ever made.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it is truly the last Lincoln penny. But what people aren't wise to, that was also the last Washington quarter. And that was actually the last Roosevelt dime in 25. They're redoing the quarter this year.
Okay.
There's 4 new ones. And the Plymouth quarter, the Pilgrim quarter came out from Plymouth.
Yeah.
Rolls are selling for $100 right now.
Wow.
Of the 26 quarter.
You know,
That's a
absolutely.
new trend for everybody right now. That's the hotness for you. 26 quarters are $100 a roll. Wow.
That
If
is
you get them at your
insane.
banks, bring them to all seas. I need them badly.
Really?
Yes.
So you want that?
I want Denver's and Phillies on the 26 quarters.
I'm gonna go down to Chase here.
Yeah, go to
tomorrow.
the bank. That's your hot news, your hot take of the day.
So Denver's and Phillies 2026 quarters.
Yes, and
All
there's going
right.
to be a new dime, so the dime's going to look more like the Mercury dime,
Mhm.
like the old days, which is pretty cool.
Right.
We're taking all the dead presidents off.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember I was in finance for, gosh, I don't know, like 15 years or something like that. And, you know, when I was working at the branch, I had, you know, people coming in all the times, like, getting the quarters, the state's
state
quarters, you know,
quarters, yes,
the
yes.
state. Are those a big thing right now, or was everybody just duped?
They were duped. I did love people collecting, so I'm not gonna. There's no wrong way to collect in what you collect, right? There's no bad way to collect.
Well, collection, it all depends on how much somebody will pay.
Yes,
That's
right.
what it's
I mean,
worth.
monetary value is what
Yeah.
it's worth, right? What you're gonna go sell and get for it,
Right.
But what it means to you and the excitement and the joy you get out of it collecting, it's the entertainment value. It's like when I go up to Blackhawk and I lose $200. I figure, hey, that's the entertainment value.
It
I
was
had.
fun.
It was
Exactly.
fun. I don't get mad
Exactly.
about it, right? So
Mhm.
look at the state look at the state quarters that way.
You got a few of those in the back, right?
Yes. You know, their idea is to teach, and they always did this with money. The education notes back in the day,
Yeah.
you know, literacy in our country was really bad in the 1800s. So they came out with educational notes where you'd read little facts about, you know, Mountain Man or, you know, Betsy Ross or anything in America. But state quarters were to teach people about the states, to know you had 50 states, the territories.
Oh, wow.
You know, and now they did, after that, they did the Women of America, which was the next set, which is very obscure because a lot of us didn't get taught about women in America in our history. So the quarter set they just ended in 25 was Women America, and now they're going on to the next quarter.
And so now you said they're getting rid of the presidents.
Yeah.
What are they putting instead of the presidents?
It's going to be the Pilgrims, and there's 4 different quarters this year. It starts with the Pilgrims, so it's going to go through our history, through innovation of the United States,
Okay.
starting with
Interesting.
Plymouth Rock.
All right. So, all right. So it's a teaching thing that quarters were. So
Yeah.
now we're not going to know our presidents,
Right.
I guess.
Right. Right. Or our
I
states.
think we
again.
know plenty.
Yeah, exactly. I personally think that we should just get rid of everything except quarters and paper monies.
You know,
but,
I'm a proponent of that. It'll only make my business better. So I think, you know,
Mhm.
well, the one thing that worries me is the digital dollar, you know, that if everything goes digital.
Yeah, that's worried me since it all came out.
Yeah.
Crypto and everything like that. It's just like, oh, let's just make up money now.
But if you look at that's been tanking, talk about stuff that's been tanking. XRP and Doge and Bit and all that.
Right.
Yeah. Physical goods. I would say I like physical things in my hand. I'm a proponent of physical items.
Nope, I hear you right
Yes.
there. Through this partnership, I want to kind of go back to this too. Was one of the main things working with Ryan was bringing in the more technology aspect of it. Was there an aspect of savings on it? Yeah, I mean, what were the
absolutely.
main?
Yeah, absolutely. So for each transaction, it's different from debit to credit card, right? You get paid a little difference. I can see it break down easier now. Can encourage people to use debit card versus an American Express card.
Right.
I know what the interest rates are in each thing. He did a real good job explaining the whole process to me of everything.
Gotcha.
Even get back to the bad news of chargebacks, and if one of my employees doesn't ring up somebody right, what the liability is to the company.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before the interview. Is the liability really always falls on the business?
Right. Banks don't lose, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And credit card companies, I mean, their clients are the cardholder.
Yes.
I mean, not the businesses that accept the cards.
Correct. That's always
So-
kind of like eBay is the same idea when, you know, it's always the seller that's reliable for anything.
Right.
It's always the way
exactly.
of it.
Exactly. Do you send Ryan like statements once a year or something like that? We've always had you on, and you've said, yeah, it's good to double check, you know, all your fees and stuff like that, just to make sure that you're in good spot. Like, you know, there's many things in business you just want to look at every year or so.
Well, yeah, and Trisha, his wife, mostly handles that. So she'll call me and be like, "Hey, you know, let's look it over." Or, "Hey, this charge came up.
Right.
You know, what is this for?" And you know, it's I don't make the rules. You know, new costs come up, rates go up. Once again, but I'll have no problem explaining it. You know, going to bat. You know, if it's an erroneous charge. You know, so. They don't have to do it, and just once again more consultative. It was like you know chargeback situation. one total way above my pay grade and out of my hands, but I'll go through the steps of what they should do. I'll make a call to the processor, make sure they're aware of it or what details they have, and then go back to the customer and be like, okay, here's what I was told.
Right.
You probably should send in this documentation or this, and if anything comes up after the fact that you need help with, well, just a phone call away.
Right, exactly. And phone call away, that's huge right there. Especially, I mean, James, I take it even in your business, you've been through a lot of little issues when it comes to that. So it's nice to have somebody at your phone who knows the in and outs of all these different issues.
It really
not
is.
all of them are the same.
Right. And, not everybody, but a lot of people come into a store where I buy and sell to burn us, one way or another through fraud on a credit card or selling fake gold, fake silver, fake Pokemon's rampant. So,
Right.
we buy and sell. So there's always an element when you deal with humans, a bad element with a lot of good people. There's a little bit of bad in there too, right? So there's always that battle we have to deal with. So I put in a face to help me. We had an email today. It was a fake email talking about some fraudulent charge went through my credit card. I would never get an email about that. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So,
well, and a lot of that is the educational point or the piece where it's just like, this is how you're going to get notified. Everything else, it's amazing through emails. It's just like, if you don't recognize it, just log in.
Well,
not through the email, but yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah, and I, probably once a week or a couple weeks, I'll get an email or a call or a text from a client and be like, hey, I just got this email or I just got this letter in the mail. Is it legit? Because the unfortunate thing is a lot of the times, especially in the banking world, the bad guys are 2-3 steps ahead.
Always.
And so it can look really official. It can look like it's from somebody. And once again, I'll do the same thing, If it's if it's obvious, I'll say that, but then, make a quick call, verify that, hey, is this legit? Did anything come from said company? And, at least you can, make sure if it's legit or not, and then go on with your day.
Right, exactly. The good ones kind of scare me, but I do love the bad ones where the spelling's off, the spacings. If it's just like, did a kid do this? Like, those are fun.
Well, I get probably a couple texts a week. You owe parking tickets, pay me now, or you owe that, all this stuff.
Exactly.
No. And that's with the chip now, right? That's what's important about the chip on the credit card, right? That's why they added that to cover the customer, basically.
Correct. The chip on the credit card says smart chip. So it's one of those to where with mag strips, once again, people being smarter, like a lot of the times they would take like the front of their credit card and then they would peel the back off, put somebody else's back on there. So there would be no way you would know. Because even if you checked and, even if you wanted to check their ID, the ID matches, but the mag strip would be different. It would be the stolen person's.
So it would still work.
Oh, it would work, but that's how fraud happens.
Right,
As far as that goes. With this smart chip, you can't do that. And, same
Not
with...
yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And then, the same with the contactless, like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and all that. Doing that creates like a 36-digit code, and it's a one-time code that's specific to that transaction. So once again, just more secure and a safeguard.
That's the one that scares me though in the long run, is that contactless pay, because like I said, they're going to scam on that eventually.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to make a phone.
Well, exactly.
I would think something's coming.
And that's a good point too, because I've always wondered, even at convenience stores and stuff like that, people can just put their phone up and contactless, even with the card, just touch it there and boom. Ryan, your recommendation, actually, you're behind all of this. You see the fraud, you see everything going on. What is the best practices for someone to use, and maybe even for businesses to look at? Are the contactless ones okay? The phone ones okay?
Yeah, those, all businesses actually should be able to do contactless and smart chips, especially. It was actually 2018. You still see a lot of restaurants and big retail places still
doing
like
the swipe,
which definitely not if there's a chargeback, you're actually automatically going to lose as a business owner.
It
Right.
makes me nervous swiping my card now. Too.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want me to swipe my card
No.
now?
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, that's like
Exactly.
the other way on that too.
You know, it's interesting in America. Like, we consider ourselves so advanced, but then in a lot of things we're behind. Like in the U.S., we automatically hand our cards to people, to people at restaurants. You know, to open tabs, this and that. You go pretty much anywhere else in the world, they would get angry, you know, if somebody actually took their card.
Right.
But I mean, you just have more chance for fraud. Once again, like James was saying, you know, most people are good people, but you know, you do have the bad ones. And whenever that card's out of your hand, there's chance for fraud. There's chance for somebody to write down a credit card number. So many things. So you know, you want to have a smart card reader, contactless for sure. And you know, if anything fishy comes up in the process, if you have a decline, you know, if something isn't working, it could be a myriad of things. It could be on the cardholder side. Let's say they've overdrawn, or the transaction amount's too high. It could be on the merchant side. It could be something for that. So if something fishy happens in that process, you know, just unfortunately, you want to accept every sale or this and that.
You don't want to turn it down.
But you don't want to
Right.
turn down a sale, but you also want to protect the business.
Well, that's where they get you, right? So they play on your emotion of getting that sale, especially people on commission jobs. You know, I bet it's a big, big problem. You want to get the sale, you're taught to get the sale. It's all about making revenue.
Right.
So they feed on that part of your thinking. You know, they are the subconscious of that. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
so if a card gets declined, you know, apologize to them. Say, I'm not sure if it's on our side or your side. You know, ask for another card or another form payment. If not, you know, just stop.
walk away.
Don't make things worse.
Right.
You know, same with
that nasty way, the nasty way.
and same with over the phone orders. There's so many
Yes.
scams that happen with over the phone orders, and once again, it's larger transactions. It's normally in the thousands, and so people get emotional about that, even salespeople, and they don't want to let that sale go away.
Right.
But if people can't verify simple information, you know, or something, you just walk away. I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've had customers over the year. They're like, "Oh, but I had a good conversation and they seem legit." But you know, in the back of my head, I had, you know, stick with your original gut. And once again, if a big dollar transaction seems to be too easy, you know what? There's
It is too
problem.
easy.
It is.
Right.
It is too easy.
Exactly.
It's the truth of it.
And that's why it's great to have a contact like you, Ryan. I mean, you and James talk all the time. Any questions, even questions about technology, anything like that, even if you just want to check your current system, just reach out. Ryan Kenny, 303-875-0621 for all of our audio people. If you are watching, this information has been scrolling across the bottom. RockyMountainCreditCard.com. And James Farnsworth, sorry about that, with All Seas Collectibles. Tell your events again real quick coming up. Let people know and your new location.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. So this Saturday at our South location on Arapahoe University, we're doing a huge buy event with Mile High Card Company. We're looking to buy all collectibles, so from very high end to very cheap, it doesn't matter. If you think you have anything we'd be interested in, please bring it. Coins, cards, comics, gold, silver, Pokemon, Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, vintage manuals. We'll even buy vinyl sometimes, just depends on what it is.
Nice.
You know, we do all kinds of array of collectibles. I use eBay. I've been a seller on eBay since the beginning of eBay. And then the Mile High Card Company is the biggest sports card memorabilia auction house in this country. And, you know, we'll be there with a lot of money to buy. So come bring them by.
Perfect. Absolutely love it. And good luck on your new location.
Thank you.
Near Arapahoe Dry Creek and University.
Yeah, right by Arapahoe High School.
Right by Arapahoe High School. Definitely love it. And Ryan, one last question. Bars and restaurants, still going on that deal?
Yeah, as of at least till the end of February.
At least till the end of February.
So yeah, free setup, no cost for hardware programming, in-person installation. And if you do $30K or more a month, $5,000 sign-up bonus.
5,000 for the business.
Uh-huh.
And if someone refers you.
Yeah, if you know of a bar or restaurant, a $2,000 referral per location.
That is perfect. So if you even refer someone to Ryan that has like 5 locations, you could get 10,000 bucks.
10
right?
G's, man.
Oh my goodness gracious, I love it. I tell you, when I was going to college, if I was doing that, I would make a killing because I was just spending all my money in bars.
Absolutely.
So it works.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. I really love it, and thank you for all of our listeners. If you did kind of catch the end of this, it is going to be on the K4CO Radio social media platforms for at least a month. So if you know a bar or restaurant or something like that, forward it over. If you know somebody that could take care of these services, whether it be credit cards or collectibles. And
Awesome.
if you're
Thank
a
you.
collectibles nut like Ryan here is, you got to go to allseascollectibles.com. Check it out. Stay tuned. We have the afternoon mix of music coming up every single day, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then, of course, tonight, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., all Colorado only. 1 solid hour of only Colorado artists in our rotation. The rest of the time, it's 1/3. And then a repeat of a Kind of Vague radio episode tonight at 9 p.m. with Andrew Talent and Rob Dixon. Thanks a lot for listening. You guys take care and have a great day.